do want to preface this by saying that suicide is like a very hard topic for you because of any experience that you've gone through. I won't be upset if you guys take a step out or anything. That's totally up to you, and I completely understand. Suicide. Many people tense up at the word. They look around. What is she talking about this for? What am I supposed to say right now? I will admit suicide is a very hard topic, but it is a very important one to discuss. If you're comfortable sharing, have any of you experienced a suicide loss or dealt with suicidal thoughts or tendencies at all? If you have, you can raise your hand. Only if you're comfortable. So, although there's only a few of us in this room, a pretty decent amount of us have. Suicide affects 132 families daily in the United States. My name is Marissa Manley, and I was part of that statistic twice when suicide stole 2 loved ones from me. Since then, it has become my passion and God's purpose for me to advocate for suicide prevention and help spread awareness in order to help stop suicide. In 2017, I started volunteering with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention at least once a year at their Out of the Darkness walks. Since beginning that year, I have continued to do at least one each year and have raised and donated hundreds of dollars to the AFSP, which is dedicated to fund more research and education on suicide prevention across the country. In 2019, I started giving presentations to different age groups in different places about suicide prevention to help spread awareness. In addition to my work with the AFSP and giving presentations, I started a nonprofit organization just this past summer in 2023 as a way to turn my passion into a pageant platform through the Miss America opportunity called Sharing Sparkles, Suicide Prevention, Awareness, Resources, and Knowledge, Leading to End the Stigma. These are the 2 people that lost their battle. In order to discuss suicide, you need to be able to say it. Suicide is a very taboo topic in the United States, which creates an unhealthy environment for people to be open with their struggles with suicidal thoughts and tendencies. This is the stigma. What exactly is stigma? Stigma is defined as a set of negative and unfair beliefs that a society or group of people have about something. These negative and unfair beliefs ultimately affect the advancements of preventing suicide, individuals who are struggling in their mental health battles, those recovering, and even those who have been grieving a suicide loss. After losing people to suicide, I can advocate for the cause and admit that the stigma hurts people who may not be suicidal. I've heard a number of different comments from people that still stick with me to this day. Why are you crying? Before rolling their eyes, scoffing, and walking away from me completely. He got what he wanted. Whatever he was going through compares nothing to what adults go through. These are absolutely gut-wrenching statements that people have said to me after suicide stole my grandfather and one of my best friends throughout school. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States, and who accounts for most of that? The highest suicide rate is among middle-aged white men, which accounted for 69.68% of all suicide deaths in 2021. Like we covered earlier, there's 132 daily. LGBTQ youth are at a higher risk, and they're 3 times more likely to attempt any form of suicide if they are not accepted by their family and friends. And for the age group that I'm guessing most of us are in, 15 through 24, it's only the 4th leading cause of death. Second, sorry, that was a different age group I'm thinking of. The suicide rate for veterans is 1.5 times greater than those who did not serve, and 22 veterans die by suicide every single day in the United States. In 2021, 48,143 suicide deaths were reported, and the most common way that people die by suicide is by firearm. Warning signs are often overlooked, but are often there. A very common one is if they have a history with suicide and suicide attempts, blatant statements that may come off as jokes, or just mentioning it and then saying, oh, I wasn't being serious. Becoming more secluded, such as distancing themselves from their loved ones, their family, their friends, which also relates to no interest in their favorite things. Increased recklessness, this could be something as drug or alcohol abuse, or even just something as simple as not wearing a seatbelt when they're driving anymore. They can start looking for ways to do so, whether that be getting materials they needed, like pills, ropes, guns, all of that type of thing. They begin giving away personal items that may have previously meant a lot to them. And they'll, out of the blue, sometimes call loved ones, start saying their goodbyes. Another big one is that in their final days, they may become happy all of a sudden. If you know they struggled with mental health issues in the past and all of a sudden they're happy, sometimes this is because they've already decided on their plan and that they know their pain is going to be over, so they're happy about that. An important thing is if you can see the warning signs, there are ways to help. You can start by having a hard conversation. It's a very common misconception that talking about suicide to somebody will only encourage it and push them to do so. But oftentimes, this will be like a way for them to get the help they need without having to start the conversation themselves because of the stigma. They're often looked at as attention-seeking or dramatic. Unless you are a registered nurse or a mental health professional, you can't necessarily give them professional advice. You can't administer any medications, but it is possible to help offer other resources for them, such as mental health authorities, counselors, and lifelines. You can just support them, listen to what they have to say, don't argue with them, don't try to tell them how they feel, listen to them and take everything what they're saying into account. And if you know they're set on killing themselves and ways they may be doing it, you can try and limit the means to do so, such as taking away those previous items. These are some of the resources that are available for anybody struggling, trying to get help for others. The 2 numbers over there, that's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can call or text 988. And then the crisis text line is 741-741, and all you do is text TALK. I changed this so I have Lenawee County resources. There's the Mental Health Authority, and then I included the Adrian College's counseling service for you. I would start by beginning with that email for, her name's Kelly, because as far as I know, there may have been some changes, and so she had to help me through that a little bit to navigate. But if somebody is in immediate danger, such as attempting or know they're about to, you can call 911 or go to an emergency room. The decision to get help isn't an easy one, but it's a very important one. These are some of the resources that I used. And then, suicide is a global epidemic. It's a crisis. I hope that what we've covered today will help start the conversation, help you look out for others, how to help yourself, and to help end the stigma on suicide. Does anybody have any questions at all?